And we are back. Welcome, guys. My name is DK, and in this video, we're talking about the 6-game NBA DFS slate on Thursday on Draftkings. If you're the first time watching, cover content for DFS, prize picks, underdog, all that good stuff. And the sponsor of today's video, that's going to be Parlay Play. Guys, if you're not on Parlay Play, you can use the link down below for a $100 deposit match bonus. But how it works is you're building out slips of player props. All the sports they offer are up here. And they do now have alt lines as well for NBA. So I would highly recommend it. And if you do click the link and deposit, it does help support the channel. If you're looking for more content, as always, you can check my Patreon linked in the description. Okay, so let's go over my lineup here from tonight, and then we can get into the breakdown. So tonight was another very solid night, and it could have been a huge night. Now, I just wish I wasn't all over Dick before lock. Seriously. I last second swapped to Fettuccine Alfredo too. The man had like negative fantasy points until the very end of the second quarter. He hit a 3. So, just truly unfortunate there. More proof no one runs worse. But finally, the Luka people got punished. We're so tired of Luka going for like 80 every single slate. So, but it is unfortunate if you played him. Injuries obviously are super unfortunate. But it was like only a few minutes left, so he was busting anyway. But so going over my lineup, I had a lot of exposure to Toronto and Detroit. Quickly was someone that I was not fading. You guys knew I was pretty high on him if you watched the video. Dick was a letdown. Bruce Brown was solid, even though he started very slow too. Again, Fettuccine had like 0 until literally right before halftime. Duran, finally, man, he owed me this one. He owed me this one for sure. After all the pain that he's put me through, a 60 bomb for Duran, only about 35% in high stakes. And then the key to the slate, I think, was Memphis. Right? It was really tricky. And I talked about this in the Patreon stream because there were so many good plays in the Toronto-Detroit game. But also, we had a lot of questionable players from Memphis, and I wanted to leave a little bit of flexibility. I was also very high in the Bulls, so DeRozan 5%, Giga Smash was really nice. I had 2 spots left. I originally had Goodwin, but then once I saw that he wasn't starting, I was worried about his minutes because we've seen Memphis when Goodwin doesn't start that he hasn't played. That happened before. So that's why I swapped to Kennard there. And then Gigi Jackson started so bad, but thankfully picked it up in the second half. Like he started like 1 of 7 or something. So once again, came very, very close to another huge. I mean, it still was a good night. I'm not going to complain about 10xing my money, $1,000 off 100, but came close to the big money. So that's the recap. Hopefully, you guys had a good night. I also tweeted out free play Bogdanovich over 3.5 assists. That hit early in the second quarter, put 200 on that. So it was a very, very profitable night. And let's see if we can keep it going. We had a hater coming at me today. Here, I'll bring it up. I have my Twitter up. No, I'll bring it up. What do you say exactly? Here we go. Camera quality still trash. This dude complains literally every video. What a dork. This one's for you. What a dork. I'm gonna start using that, calling people a dork. All right, let's talk about the slate now. Phoenix and Boston. First game here. Phoenix, you got Eric Gordon is questionable. Not really huge news. Big 3 are healthy with KD, Booker, and Beal. I think this is going to be a great game to watch, not necessarily for DFS, at least on the Phoenix side. There's really nothing that stands out. I think if I was going to pick between the top-end guys, I'd rather get to an 8.8K Booker over a 9.5K Durant. Both are playable, but I don't think either are must. Beal at 6'7" feels, maybe a little bit underpriced right now for his role. So the top 3 guys are still playable for Phoenix. My boy Nurkic has been playing around, high 20s to low 30s minutes. Don't think he stands out at that price point. Grayson Allen, we've seen a couple massive games from him, but with a fully healthy team, a little bit tough to go there. Royce O'Neal, if Eric Gordon's available, his minutes won't be as high. Again, the price is up on him too. There's not a ton. Eubanks have played the backup 5. Not a ton on Phoenix that I love. Now for Boston, little bit different because Porzingis is already confirmed out, and we're waiting on stats of Jaylen Brown. Because if Jaylen Brown is out, then, Tatum and White and Holiday all look really good. Horford, obviously, would be a solid play no matter what. And then we would start looking at guys like, Hauser and Pritchard. Maybe this time around, the Celtics won't troll with the starting lineup. You guys see that last night? Had a lot of money on Pritchard Pierre once I saw that he was starting. And then after lock, swap back to Hauser in the starting lineup. It's like, okay, cool. But yeah, if Jaylen Brown is in, I think any of the main guys are solid options. Tatum, Brown, White, Holiday, Horford. Horford's pretty safe without Porzingis. Should start to play low 30s minutes. Most likely we'll get Kornet backing him up at a 4-7. That's a little pricey for Kornet. If Brown gets ruled out, though, that's where I think Tatum and White would be really good plays. Same with Drew. And then those value plays, Hauser, Pritchard, would be firmly in play as well. All right, Clippers and Bulls. This is another one where got to keep a close eye on news. Harden and Kawhi both questionable. Westbrook out. Now, if I had to guess, I would say at least one of these guys don't play. I mean, Kawhi literally left the arena last night because of the back spasms. And then Harden, I listened to the post-game interview. He didn't sound super confident. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. He didn't sound super confident he was going to play. So if the Clippers are fully healthy, it's the same deal, right? It's Harden, Kawhi, and Paul George all be kind of secondary plays. If one of those guys would have a good game, ownership, or at least one of those guys would have a good game if the game is competitive. But always tough to pick between them when they're fully healthy. Ownership would play a role for sure. But like if one or both are out, then Paul George season at 8.3 would be the clear number one option. Probably play high 30s minutes. He would look great. And then if both are out, we're looking at guys like Powell. He'd be the number 2 offensively. He'd be the second highest usage player on the team. Man, Coffee, Bones Highland's been in the rotation. Like these guys will all look like really solid plays if both Harden and Kawhi are out. And then Zubac will also look a little bit better. His minutes have slowly ticked up, 25, 26, 27 minutes over the last couple games. He would get more usage if those guys are out. So, there'll just be a ton to like here from the Clippers if both those guys are out. If they're both in, a lot of the secondary plays for me for LA. For the Bulls, Kobe White got injured at the very end of the game. Let's see. Sustained a hip injury. Okay. They will limp to the locker room. I don't think he'll be able to play tomorrow. I don't think there's any reason to push Kobe White, at least for the Bulls. So my guess is you're going to get Torrey Craig in the starting lineup at 3.7K for Kobe White. They could go Drummond too, but against the Clippers, I don't really think the matchup makes sense to go the Twin Towers. But yeah, Vooch 8.5, DeRozan 8.2, Io 5.9, Caruso 5.5. I like them all. It's not really the same matchup as it was last night, but still, if there's no Kobe White, and Kobe White's a high-usage player, you take Kobe White out of the lineup, these guys are all going to look pretty good. So the main 4 guys, I think, all look pretty good, and then keep a close eye on the starting lineup. If it is Torrey Craig, I think he stands out as a good point per dollar value. You're never excited about playing Torrey Craig, but, if he starts, I think you got to give him at least 25 minutes or so. And then I think Drummond is interesting, too, if there's no Kobe White, because they just don't have, who else are they going to give minutes to? The team, Phillips, Carter, they just don't. Terry Taylor, they just don't have the option. So I think they would have to probably play Drummond a little bit alongside Vooch, which would make him an interesting tournament play. Philly and Milwaukee, I feel like these Philly teams are getting blown out every single night. It's been costing a lot of money on these props. Maxey 8.5. If you think Philly can keep it competitive, I do like his upside quite a bit. He would be the clear number 1 option. Milwaukee has struggled against guards, so do like the upside on Maxey. Harris, Oubre, Hield, Lowry, all playable. Philly should run a pretty tight rotation, assuming the game is competitive. And then they've been starting Bamba, but they have been closing with Paul Reed. I still don't have a ton of confidence in the minutes, but Paul Reed is a good point per minute player. So 5.4 with the power forward eligibility. He's always someone I'm going to mention in GPPs. Let's move on to Milwaukee. So Middleton's still out. Beasley and Beverly, or Beasley is questionable, Beverly's probable. If Malik Beasley does not play, I assume this group of Beverly and Connaughton and Crowder will all benefit minutes-wise. So those guys will all look more appealing if Beasley does not play. Top-end guys, Giannis 11.4, Dame 8.6. I think if I had to pick between the two, I would lean Giannis over Dame. But Dame's still in play as well at that price point. Bobby Portis, sub 6K, is always playable for tournaments, but his minutes have not been amazing. Lopez, Again, if Beasley plays, I think he's a decent value play. The minutes have been solid for him in competitive games. But if he misses, those 3 guys, Beverly, Connaughton, Crowder, would all benefit. All right, Washington and Houston. So Bagley out, still Shamet out. Rashad Holmes is questionable. Keep a close eye on this because if Holmes does not play, I think Washington's going to run a lot of small ball. They started Kuzma at the 5 last couple games, and they've been going Tyus, Denny, Kuzma, Kispert, and Koulibaly in the starting lineup. So, Kuzma, Denny, they would get a rebounding bump if obviously they start small again. Kuzma, I think, looks like a pretty good play here at that price. Denny at 6'9". I think I would lean Kuzma over Denny, but Denny would still be in play. And Washington's also playing their starters big minutes in competitive games. So you just need the game to stay competitive. I think without Şengün, there's a better chance the Wizards can at least keep this game competitive. Jordan Poole's been playing well off the bench. Minutes, but a little bit up and down on him. But we've seen ceiling games from Poole. Kispert, I was so tilted about that. Way overowned last slate and just couldn't miss a shot to start the game. It was like 6 of 6. Oh, God. If he would have kept that pace, I don't know what I would have done. I was so incredibly tilted about that. Thankfully, he cooled off. Yeah, but that start to the game for Chalk Corey Kispert. Ooh, I was fuming. Koulibaly's 4-5. He should continue to play 30-plus minutes. Not a great point per minute guy, but with the price plus eligibility makes him playable. And then, they're just really not giving a ton of minutes to any of the bench guys. Like, if Holmes is out, like Amore only played 8 minutes. You saw, I believe, another 10 minutes or so for Baldwin, 11 minutes. Like, they're just not giving these guys a run. Now, if Rashawn Holmes plays, keep an eye on the starting lineup. I don't know if he will start because on the opposite side, I expect Houston to go small too. But I think Holmes would be, at least playing more than what we've been seeing for like a Morier and Patrick Baldwin. So that is pretty important, the status for Rashawn Holmes. And then for Houston, so no Whitmore, Şengün out for the season, sadly. But I expect them to go small again. So I think they'll go Amen Thompson starting lineup. Amen Thompson like 80% the other day and only played like 20 minutes, which was pretty surprising. But yeah, Van Fleet, Jalen Green, they just kind of lead the way offensively here. 39 minutes for Van Fleet last game. Jalen Green played 37 minutes. I think both the guards look good. I think I do prefer Van Fleet to Green if I had to pick, but ownership will play a role in what I do there. Jabari Smith, as we talked about in the other video, I was so incredibly tilted. First about the minutes. Like he was playing less minutes somehow with Şengün out. And then his first half, he had like 2 fantasy points. Thankfully, he picked it up and smashed in the second half. Again, he looks way better when he plays the 5. So assuming they start him at the 5 again, I unfortunately am going to be high on Jabari Smith. Again, Thompson, if he starts, I think is a decent option. I think we got to expect more than the 20 or so minutes he played last game. Lando played a lot more than I thought last game. I don't know if they'll need him, though, against a small ball Wizards team. So I don't think we can expect 26 minutes against Lando. If you think he plays anywhere close to that, then you definitely want to have some interest in him. Dylan Brooks dealt some foul trouble. That's why he only played 30 minutes, but I would expect mid-30s minutes from him in a good spot. I don't really know if there's anything else, though, like Jeff Green or Jay Sean Tate or anything like that. The minutes are just not there for those guys. New York and Portland, so no Randall, no Mitchell Robinson still. Brunson, 9K, nice matchup. I think it looks like a pretty solid spend up in 27 minutes, had 40-plus fantasy points last game. Can we talk about this for Josh Hart, man? Like, just... game was like a clear cross-off for DFS, right? Clear cross-off. And he just has a massive triple-double for absolutely no reason. 19 rebounds? I mean, and Tibbs is still just running him into the ground. Like, they were up by 30. He still had him in the 4th. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we'd expect that type of performance again from Josh Hart, but he's still just playing huge minutes, which makes him firmly in play. Same with DiVincenzo. They're playing these guys just massive minutes. OG in his first game back played 29 minutes. Would have played a little bit more if the game would have stayed competitive. I actually think he's a decent option in the mid-range. The bigs a little bit tougher to get to. They're kind of mixing, matching the bigs with Achua and Hartenstein and Sims. The minutes of Bogdanović have been disappointing as well. So, that's it for the Knicks. For Portland, keep an eye on the news. Grant was questionable and did not play tonight. Scoot was on a limit tonight. We'll see if he's available on a back-to-back. I could see like one or both of Grant and Scoot sitting again. DeAndre Ayton, though, has been on a tear. I think he's interesting for tournaments. He once again had a really solid first half. 7.7K. I mean, he's been leading the team in usage over the last 5 games. Anthony Simons, I think, is reasonable. Would look better if a couple of these guys end up sitting. Banton got the start. If he starts again tomorrow, I think he'd be a pretty good point per hour play there at 5K. And then, guys like, again, these wings like Kamara, Murray, Thibault. These are guys I usually consider when the team is very shorthanded, so that'll depend on the status of Grant and depend on the status of Scoot. All right, final game is Dallas and Oklahoma City. Now, if I had to guess, I would say Luka does not play. He left the game with hamstring soreness. So my guess is he doesn't play, but we'll see. If he does not play, I mean, Kyrie Irving looks amazing. The only concern I will have is potential blowout. on the road in Oklahoma City. So there definitely would be some blowout risk. But yeah, I mean, Kyrie gets a massive usage bump and assist bump with Luka off the court. And then, I mean, Dallas basically been a cross-up outside of Luka and Kyrie, but we would have to consider a lot of these value plays. You know, this group of like Tim Hardaway Jr. and Josh Green and Dante Exum. Again, the minutes have been disappointing for these guys. They're all playing like high teens to low 20s. But all three of those guys would look like phenomenal values if Luka can't go. I think you can make the argument for Derrick Jones Jr. as well. So there would be a lot to like here for Dallas. The bigs right now, you're getting Gafford, Lively, and Kleber splitting the center position. But, I mean, the bigs are relatively cheap too. They're playable. PJ Washington would look better as well. He's been playing decent minutes, probably plays high 20s, low 30s. So Luka news is massive because if Luka's out, there's a ton to like here. But, again, you do have to factor in potential blowout. And finally, Oklahoma City, fully healthy. Pretty boring team to talk about. But, yeah, Shea, always in play at the top. He's been very consistent. You got Chet and Jalen Williams as the number 2 and number 3 offensively. Both should play low to mid 30s minutes. Both are reasonable price points. Jalen Williams is not even on the injury report. Giddey and Dort, kind of hard to get to. Jalen Williams back. Value, I just don't think it's necessary to go there. So, pretty easy team to talk about. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up the video. As always, if you enjoyed, just make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you all in the next video.